Fire. Falcons fans, listen up. This Sunday isn't just another game. This is a chance to make a statement. Atlanta is rolling, Carolina is limping, and the division is wide open. What happens in this NFC South clash could change everything for our season. Fire. The Atlanta Falcons are back in action this Sunday, and the spotlight is shining directly on another NFC South battle, this time against the Carolina Panthers. And let's be honest, Falcons fans, this matchup is setting up like a gift from the football gods. Atlanta is riding high after a dominant win over the Vikings, a victory that didn't just add to the record but sent a message to the league. The Falcons are not the same team as last year. They're tougher, meaner, and hungrier. Now, they get to face a Panthers squad that's banged up, struggling for rhythm, and missing key players on both sides of the ball. This is exactly the kind of opportunity Atlanta needs to keep stacking momentum in the division. Momentum is everything in football. Once it starts rolling, it's hard to stop, and right now, the Falcons are building a wave that could crash through the NFC South. But where does it all start? Defense. Atlanta's defense has been the heartbeat of this team, and compared to last season, the transformation is jaw-dropping. Just a year ago, this pass rush was near the bottom of the NFL. This year? They're already top 5 in sacks, pressure rates, and pass rush win rate. That's not improvement. That's a complete identity shift. Think about last week against Minnesota. 6 sacks. 6. And the best part? It wasn't just one superstar doing all the work. It was James Pierce Jr. wreaking havoc. It was Jalen Walker flying in from the edge. It was Brandon Dorales and Leonard Floyd crashing the pocket. This rotation runs deep, and every guy is bringing heat. And now they get a Panthers offensive line that just lost 2 starters, Robert Hunt and Austin Corbett, both headed to injured reserve. That means Carolina is about to throw backups into the fire against one of the hottest defensive fronts in the league. Falcons fans, that's a mismatch all day long. Carolina's going to have to rely on guys who are simply not built to handle this kind of speed and strength. This isn't just a matchup. This is blood in the water. And Atlanta's defense is circling. So, Falcons fans, I've got to ask you, how confident are you in our defense this Sunday? On a scale of 1 to 10, drop your confidence rating in the comments. I want to see how high you're riding with this squad right now. The Falcons' defense just feasted on Minnesota, 6 sacks, bodies flying everywhere. But now the question is real. Can this group take it even further? Can we see 8 sacks on Carolina? Because if there's any game where it could happen, it's this one. Their offensive line is falling apart, and Atlanta's pass rush is hunting like wolves that smell blood. But let's flip it to the offense, because that's where things get even scarier. This game runs straight through Bijan Robinson. Carolina has been absolutely terrible at covering running backs in the passing game. Their linebackers are ranked near the bottom of the league. And Bijan? He's not just a runner. He's a nightmare mismatch. Through 2 weeks, he's already Atlanta's leading receiver with 125 yards. That's wild for a running back. He's basically breaking defenses without even carrying the ball. Picture it, Bijan in space, one-on-one with a linebacker. That's not even fair. We saw it in week 1. You give him just an inch of daylight, and defenders are grasping at air. Then you sprinkle in Tyler Allgeier, that downhill bruiser who lowers his shoulder and makes defenses pay. That thunder and lightning combo is exactly how Atlanta buried Minnesota, and it's the same formula that can crush Carolina. Now Carolina's not going to just let the Falcons run wild, especially with Derek Brown plugging the middle. But that's where Arthur Smith gets creative. Use Bijan as a receiver, punish them with Allgeier's power, and suddenly you're forcing Carolina's defense to guess on every snap. And that's how Atlanta controls this game. Falcons fans, what do you think? Will Bijan torch the Panthers for over 100 yards total, or is this the week Tyler Allgeier steals the spotlight? Drop your prediction below. Here's the truth, Carolina's linebacker and safety coverage has been shaky all season. The middle of the field is wide open, but here's the catch. Michael Penix Jr. hasn't really had to attack that part of the field yet. And that's the big question heading into this matchup. Can Penix step up and start carving up defenses over the middle? Because if he can, everything changes. Imagine those in breaking routes, Drake London streaking across the field, Kyle Pitts slipping behind a linebacker, Bijan leaking out of the backfield. If Atlanta chooses to attack that weakness, it proves something bigger. This offense isn't one-dimensional. It proves they can adapt, take what defenses give them, and punish opponents no matter how they line up. But if the Falcons stick only to the outside throws, you can tell that's where Penix feels most comfortable right now. And that's fine, but at some point, to beat the best teams, you need that middle-of-the-field dominance. That's what makes great offenses unstoppable. And let's not forget, the Falcons don't even need to get fancy. The run game sets everything up. Bijan out of the backfield, play-action bombs over the top, linebackers frozen in their tracks. That's how you break a defense's will. At the end of the day, though, it all comes down to physicality. That's Atlanta's identity now. We saw it against Minnesota, 6 sacks, over 200 yards of offense, and complete control of the trenches. The Falcons bullied the Vikings into submission. And now they're staring at a Panthers team missing starters, limping into the game, and trying to protect a young quarterback with patchwork blocking. That's not just a matchup. That's a recipe. A recipe for another statement win. Falcons fans, let me ask you, do you want to see Penix unleashed over the middle this week, or should Atlanta stick to pounding Carolina into the ground with the run game? The way I see it, this game is setting up for Atlanta to make a statement. I've got the Falcons winning 31-7 over Carolina, a blowout that moves them to 2-1 and puts the whole NFC South on notice. This isn't last year's Falcons. This is a team that looks sharper, faster, and tougher on both sides of the ball. But, and this is a big one, there's one concern that can't be ignored. A.J. Terrell is out. And that means the Falcons' best corner won't be there to match up against Carolina's number one weapon, wide receiver Teteroa McMillan. That's a real test. Do the Falcons sit back in zone? Do they press and trust their depth? We know defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich will cook up a game plan, but make no mistake, this is a key battle that could decide how comfortable the defense looks without their star corner. And here's the tricky part, hamstring injuries are unpredictable. Nobody knows exactly when Terrell will be back, and until then, Atlanta's secondary has to prove they can survive without him. The pass rush can cover a lot of mistakes, but eventually, the secondary will be tested. So yes, I see a dominant Falcons win. But to me, the real storyline is about more than the scoreboard. It's about watching how this defense holds up without A.J. Terrell. If they keep Carolina under control even without their CB1, then Atlanta just proved they're deeper and stronger than anyone thought. Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. Backhand index pointing right, do you think this pass rush goes off again and buries Carolina? Backhand index pointing right, how many yards does Bijan Robinson rack up in this matchup? Backhand index pointing right, and most importantly, can Atlanta survive without A.J. Terrell until he's back healthy? Drop your predictions below, because this game could be the start of something big.